hopefully win the game. You know, that's what we're going to set out to do. Like I said, 3 massive games to go, and Liverpool being the first, so we want to take a lot of energy there and do the best we can.
With Liverpool, when they won the league, you guys were so involved in everything that was happening in the Champions League. Do you feel like, in a way, this weekend's going to be that moment where you're going to look and think, that could have been us?
Yeah, look, we've obviously seen what they've done. Massive credit to them. Been the most consistent team throughout the season. You know, performed to a really high standard and ability. So yeah, you know, cannot knock them, can't take anything away from them. You know, everyone else fell short, and in the end, you know, they were probably the strongest team in it. But it's a great chance, you know, to challenge ourselves against the champions, and you know, we believe on our day that we can beat anyone. So yeah, we need to go to Anfield and give it absolutely everything.
It must be so frustrating to get so close and see the progress and not getting there, lifting the trophy. How do you make sure you don't get that tag of the nearly team, the almost team?
Yeah, obviously it's going to be, what, 3 seasons in a row that we've come close to winning the Premier League. It's disappointing. It's really, really tough to take, but you have to be able to you know, to take it in to be able to move on. And it's hard to see other teams lift trophies when you've been in and around it and competing, and obviously that's the dream, to win the Premier League. But like I said the other night after our game in PSG, you know, sometimes you have to suffer these small losses in life in order to win. You know, every top player who's won a trophy's lost along the way, and they've never stopped believing or dreaming. You know, I'm 26. Half of our players in our team are so young. You know, this doesn't define us now. You know, we've got a whole career ahead of us to win stuff. So we're going to keep pushing, keep setting out for more, and this is what this club deserves. You know, we've been really, really close. But until we actually get our hands on a trophy again and, you know, start to win big things, I think then people will start to say Arsenal are back, you know. There's no point just being in and around it and not winning. But yeah, I think we're really close. We can sense it. Again, this year, is, like I said, it's really, really disappointing, but we're not going to let our heads drop. We're going to keep trying to deliver for the fans and for ourselves.
How do you personally deal with it, with getting so close? Because it's so clear how much you guys want to win.
Yeah, it hurts. It's sickening, you know. I really, really care. It's a sport I love. It's a sport that I want to succeed in. You know, winning something with Arsenal would be absolutely incredible, and you know, I've still got 4 or 5 years left on my contract here to do that. You know, so the time hasn't happened at the minute, but I fully believe in my time here that we will. But yeah, look, it's tough to take. Don't get me wrong, it is really tough when you lose at anything in any sport. You know, if you have that winning mentality, it's hard to digest. But also, you have to hold your hands up when other teams have been better than you and also deserve to win it. And Liverpool have this year, so I'm not one of them that will make excuses. Fair play to them. They fully deserved it.
We're here talking about emotions and how to deal with things. And Arsenal has shown that you guys can turn up on big occasions and really step up. But also, when you drop so many points in the league, there are those questions of emotional stability. So how do you see the team emotionally? Do you feel like you could be and you should be more stable emotionally?
I think we're an emotionally really strong team. I think we've just been through patches this season where in the Premier League, for sure, we've dropped way too many points on winning positions, took our foot off the gas, been 1 or 2-0 up in games and let other teams back into it, where it's where we need to have that killer instinct, you know, and kill the game off and don't be naive and don't start to do things that we don't train, you know, don't start to take loads and thousands of touches and do silly things on a football pitch that can get the opposition back into the game. And I think too many times this season that's happened, whereas last season it didn't. But look, football's a learning curve, you know. We're here to learn, and I think next season, again, even with the 3 games to go, it's a great chance to go out and perform and put things right. And then obviously going into next season, you know, it's obviously massive pressure to deliver again.
I imagine you've thought about it so many times, and it's never just one thing when you get so close to winning a title in a row. But what is it about this season specifically that you feel it was like the biggest learning curve in getting so close?
I don't know really. Look, it's not an excuse if you take your best 4 or 5 players out of any team in the world, and still try to compete, be in the semi-final of the Champions League, be second in the Premier League. Not a lot of teams would be able to do it, losing your best 5 players, and we've really...
More emotion than reflections. I think the emotion, it was one of the saddest but proudest night that I have as a national manager. We had so much belief and hope into that competition, going into the semi-final. Then at the end, when that's gone, obviously, it's a tough one to digest. But at the same time, when I see the team and the way the team perform and the way the team goes to Paris with that results and suffocates an opponent of that caliber and plays with full belief regardless what happened, we are the better team. We concede a goal, we get another one, and the team was always in the game trying to achieve it. So we have to do our very best. We were very close, but we lacked something.
Everyone at the club has to cope with those emotions, but first and foremost, how do you cope with it? Because you shoulder the responsibility above everybody else.
The way I said it, I mean, feel the pain, feel sad, and feel the pride as well, and where we have arrived, and how and in which conditions we have arrived as well, and still the way we competed. I'm very sad as well because I think we deserve more. I'm watching the game back and looking at every stat. We're the better team throughout the 2 legs.
You know better than anybody in this game, every word that you guys and girls say as managers or coaches is analysed to the nth degree. You said, in your opinion, you thought you were the best team in that competition. Other people obviously disputed that. But from your perspective, can you quantify what you were saying?
Yeah, well, that's my feeling. And my feeling is because I study a lot of the game, because I know what is really relevant to win football matches and to perform. And over the last 2 legs, again, against PSG, you compare what PSG did against Liverpool and Aston Villa, they deserve to go through. Against us, we did much more than them to win it, but they were much efficient than us, that's clear.
Obviously, you will look at a season from beginning to end in all the competitions. Is it important from your perspective that you divide this season very much into what's happened in the Premier League, which we'll come on to in a minute, and what's happened in Europe? And have there been 2 different trajectories there?
We couldn't do that, but at the end, it's a journey that the team lives throughout 10 months, and we have to understand as well how we've been and in which condition the team has been competing week in, week out. And when we're really analyzing, you want to analyze the amount of players that we had available for so long, how we have repeated lineups, what is required, and how many minutes you need for certain players to perform and provide certain numbers to win the competitions. We were so far of it, much further than where we have finished. But that's the learnings and the things that I think we can take and make sure that next season don't happen.
You always talk here about progress and the journey, but is it important for you to underline that the journey in Europe has been one of progress in terms of this being the club's first Champions League semi-final for 16 years?
Yeah, it is, but I think, we are not satisfied with that. We want to win it, and we believe that we could win it, and that's the spirit. And if somebody said, no, but we have this, and I don't want anybody talking about it. I want talking why we didn't win it and why we are not to win it, and that's what it has to drive this club and everybody involved in this project to achieve it.
In terms of the Champions League, from your perspective, why didn't you win it? Why didn't you win it when you were right there?
Because it's a lot of things have to go your way. And what we did is increase the probability of winning it very high. I mean, with the probability and what we generate in 2 games, the probability is really high that you are in the final. But it has to go your way. And it didn't. And we missed too many chances, too many open chances. We can give credit. We do miss, or we had the best goalkeeper in the world in front of them, saving those moments. The decisions have to go for you, and then the ability of the players that they have in margins where you